another episode of Super Reaction Bros. I'm Kristen.
I'm Christopher.
On today's episode, we're taking a look at a new cinema sins, this time for Everything Wrong with Wreck-It Ralph. The movie comes out later this week, and
well, by the time this video is out, pretty much it'll be released.
Okay, what you said. So, I enjoyed the first one. I know a lot of people, what they didn't like about the first one was that it was supposed to be about like different video game worlds, but only really primarily focused on Sugar Rush, the one Sarah Silverman's character was a part of. Yeah. And there was a deleted scene where like a whole bunch of deleted scenes where Ralph dreams of going to this game he keeps on hearing about. It's like a open sandbox world game, pretty much. And they scrapped that. I forgot why, but they scrapped that. But I still thought the film was good. It had some heart to it. Yeah. It's easily the least annoying Sarah Silverman role I've ever have a chance to experience. What did you think of the film?
No, I thought the same thing. I had fun with it. They had a lot of cameos from a lot of characters. Even if you weren't paying attention, you could see it in the distance background going, oh, it's that character, this character, or certain nods that they made, and I enjoyed it. They did a good job with it. They did a good job, just trying to keep everything balanced, still focused on the main story itself. There's certain elements of, talking about how it's like, they showed examples of how, people, are into like a lot of the the first person shooters, stuff like that, making nods to those type of games, but I thought they did a good job. Now, them finding everything wrong, I can't wait to see. They probably have a full list of things. Yeah. I mean, it's 15 minutes, or less. So, I mean, they probably found a whole bunch. Yeah. So let's just dive right into this for Everything Wrong with Wreck-It Ralph. So here we go.
Seconds of Disney logos. My name's Ralph. Now Ralphation. So the plot of this video game is that Ralph finds stumps to sleep in, and a bulldozer comes by to remove this one stump for some stupid reason, and then Ralph, who apparently has very specific sleeping needs, gets angry and destroys entire apartment buildings? I forgot how much coke everybody was doing in the 80s. This is exactly what I used to yell at my college girlfriend shortly before Rudy. If he's a regular contractor and carpenter, you would not be able to fix the damage that I do as quickly. Wreck-It Ralph would be amazing at cinema. The movie speeds up time during this sequence to show how much everything's changed over the years, but hardly anything changes. Hell, a realistic time lapse would be to show this arcade going out of business for a few years and becoming a Ruby Tuesday. Keeping all these outdated games in the same spot for 30 years without any turnover. Also, if you look closely, the Fix-It Felix game apparently only has one level. There's apparently nowhere to go after this.
All clear. The arcade's closed.
I see you got some Toy Story in my Wreck-It Ralph. Once again, there's virtually no way these game characters could do this unseen. But hey, my disbelief's been drunk before, so maybe I can accept it this time. Since everybody in the video game universe realizes this is all a show, why is Ralph ostracized? What this movie is saying is that our human projection of Ralph's villainy translates to the characters in the video game world. But meanwhile, Roo and Ken can be battling and decide to get a drink together after
right?
Because they know it's all make-believe. I'm Zangief, I'm bad guy.
That's why they have
In the original Street Fighter II, Zangief was just another character you could play.
I know, that doesn't make sense for me. I never found out you could be a bad guy.
Until the Champion Edition came out. What makes Zangief a bigger bad guy than, say, Ken, Chun-Li, or Dalsum? Okay, Dalsum. I'm bad. And that's good. Honestly, when and why did we convince ourselves that addiction recovery just had to include unison group chants? So they were all in the Pac-Man game for that Badanon meeting, but in just a few moments, everyone's going to act like going into a game not your own, aka game jumping, is a bad thing. But clearly the act itself is okay if the circumstances are right. So this video game subway travels through a surge protector, where all the video game characters can go back to their homes. But what happens if the game is plugged in elsewhere? Surely not every game
that is true.
Up to this one surge protector. Yeah. Also, even though that can't be all the games in the arcade, it's still too many plugs. Holy hell, this is a fire hazard if ever I saw one. This place not burned down already. Name Lara Croft. Haha, but how does Ralph know about Lara Croft, a character who was never an arcade fixture? Yeah, bring any fruit.
It's video games in general.
Yeah. No fruit. This works. I like how the creatures here run away from Ralph because he's a bad guy, but that T-Rex back there isn't scaring anyone. You spent so much time on Easter eggs, you forgot about consistency.
If you die outside your own game, you don't regenerate.
I have no doubt about this, but it does raise this question. There are multiple copies of these arcade games all around the world, right? There are thousands of other Wreck-It Ralphs, Pac-Mans, etc. And
I think it's just that vicinity, though.
The Nice Landers know how to party.
They don't realize
I'm
that.
still left wondering, why are there so many of them? There are a finite number of windows in the Felix game, and way more citizens here at this party than windows. Granted, there's half a boiled egg and a piece of bacon at this dance, so maybe we've got some cross-game celebrating going on here. Which I would then sin for just being more game jumping being casually overlooked by a movie that screams about how bad game jumping is.
You're just the bad guy who wrecks the building.
Again, what are all these people pissed about? Are they the only video game characters who don't know they're in a game? Do they really live their lives inside this machine and get upset when Ralph comes in to wreck their home? Do they not realize that it all goes back to normal once the game is over? What the is with these assholes?
Oh, come on, Zangief.
This is the lost and found inside the Tapper machine. If you lose your life outside of the game, you don't regenerate. But apparently you can lose your at Tapper's place and just get it right back. This scene of 8 quarters to play doesn't exaggerate enough. This is Burner Y Arcade's diet, by the way.
It's make your mama's proud time. Hello, my mama.
Him lasting even this long without being found out is kind of ridiculous.
Sweet Mother Hubbard.
Yep, there were 2 big budget movies in 2012 that made weird Mother Hubbard references.
This movie's favorite.
How did that even happen? I guess this is our first time playing this game. Good thing, too, because what if a Heroes Duty expert was playing right now? Wouldn't that person report this strange, bizarre weirdness?
Hi.
Yeah, that's true.
Turn call. He's pretty sure you're stealing his bit. I'm mostly just wondering why a family movie from Disney felt the need to make this joke at all.
Go away, kid. We're gonna play all 9 of today's racers.
You have to go pretty far out of your way in money-seeking activities to end up drawing product placement.
Subway, yeah.
We should be wrecking the building.
Okay, so now you're telling me that the innocent apartment dwellers do know Ralph is supposed to wreck the building and that's his job? Because you can't have these same characters pissed off when he doesn't do it.
Yeah, they were the biggest assholes.
Tappers again.
So when Ralph falls asleep at Tapper's, does he usually not show up? Does this Ralph not showing up in the game thing happen all the time? And if so, why panic at all? Felix speaking Cubert is the single biggest you this movie has. Cubert as a game was so infuriating, I can't even enjoy this guy. He's climbing this wall almost like he totally forgot that if he dies in this game, he dies forever and can't respawn in his own game again. I'm just saying, I'd be nervous as about basically everything, but especially free climbing skyscrapers. But they only played 1 game. They just opened the arcade before this 1 game. How is this arcade already closed?
Grace under pressure. And above all, dignity.
While I admit the things this game narrator is listing make for hilarious juxtaposition with the actual actions of Ralph, they aren't things a game like this would consider virtues in its best player. Dignity? It's a Halo ripoff. Dignity. Cartoon character flying in the air and screaming in slow motion cliche. Oh, but you know who Lara Croft is.
No, my medal.
How did the medal get all the way back here? When Ralph ejected, he went backwards. But that means the medal had to come off his neck and fly an additional 1,000 feet or so, and magically...
It's a video game.
Yeah, it's a game.
It's like seeing Wibbly Wobbly Timey Wimey.
Let the record show that in Ralph's defense, Vanellope was pretty much a selfish jerk to him right from the start. Yes, she does want a gold coin so she can race, but stealing is stealing.
Cybugs will chew up that game faster than a chicken hawk in a coop of crippled roosters.
Force simile aside,
No.
You're wrong. It takes ages for the Cybugs to become an actual threat in Sugar Rush.
Without a beacon to stop them, they'll consume Sugar Rush.
Sounds like really shitty game programming to me.
Not her fault. She's programmed with the most tragic backstory ever.
If the program is aware of
I love her
the program is
backstory, though.
dictated by the code, isn't that the definition of AI? Is this the singularity?
You die outside your game, you don't regenerate.
You keep telling us that, but we haven't seen it once. Segregated seating. Imagine a world where you go to a NASCAR race and are forced to sit with only the people who taste exactly like you.
All hail our rightful ruler.
That character somehow went back in time from the Emoji Movie and inspired itself.
That's
Its own
cool.
Candy. Casual cannibalism. This gold medal from an entirely different game works as a gold coin in this game.
There's no way that I am racing with a glitch.
That's glitchist.
Yo.
Okay, that's some...
right there! Thank you! It's like, oh, Rio!
So now video game code makes a difference in this world? It really hasn't up until this point.
I'll lock you in my fungeon. Fungeon? Fun dungeon. You know, it's a play on words.
In a candy-based race game, though? Wouldn't a sweet...
Alan Tudyk does a great
Or
job.
the gel cell? Or the Twinkie Clinky? Holy, the bullying is so over the top in this movie, I'm wondering if Stephen King did an uncredited rewrite.
Oh.
Ralph's been in Sugar Rush for half a day and is already speaking in setting appropriate metaphors and insults.
The vines, they're laffy-taffy. They're attracted to whatever makes them laugh.
No one knows why they were programmed into this game, but they're perfect ex machinas. In fact, what the hell is all this in a game where the objective is to race? Man, the thing that is lost in all this is what sadistic these Laffy Taffies are. I would sit in this sleeping guard at the cart bakery, but then what upsets me more is the bakery needs a guard in the first place. It's almost like Sugar Rush is the most realized video game in the entire arcade. They built a whole world inside here that has nothing to do with the game itself.
Yeah.
So Vanellope puts nothing but trash into the mixing bowl, but when Ralph goes to fix everything, the trash magically disappears except for the TV.
That's true. You look at that.
Magically disappearing trash because it's a video game. But you cannot keep the TV if all the trash is going to disappear once you get the right ingredients.
Here's your car.
Okay, yes, this is a terrible race car, but I don't see how that bullshit we just went through could ever yield a car more roadworthy than this one. Diet Cola in a game called Sugar Rush? Blasphemy.
I'll just magically win the race just because I really want to.
Look, wise guy, I know I'm a racer. I can feel it in my coat.
She's right, of course, and unfortunately, because in the context of what has happened so far to this point, Ralph is also right. The movie's Diet Coke and Mentos gag is super interesting to me. It's both inspired as hell and yet simultaneously dated as shit. If anything, it's a lesson to take time to make certain you want to write a viral video into your hopefully timeless movie.
I think it's some sort of unfinished bonus level.
That they just left in the game? So the programmers of Sugar Rush were planning some sugar-free bonus level and decided not to include it as a live.
That's happened before.
It has.
That's how it happened in video games before.
So it's a great reference to it.
Yeah.
Everyone here says I'm just a mistake and that I wasn't even supposed to exist. What do you expect?
Movie has balls, man. Balls of heart. 1-2 punching me here with Ralph's realization of how similar his situation is to hers, and then her spelling out how I and probably most kids felt at some point during childhood.
Oof.
Sins removed for the feels.
Yeah.
You really don't know anything, do you? Glitches can't leave their games.
Whoa, no need for the attitude, since you seem to...
Yeah, that's the biggest sin of this one.
Also, learning this about glitches makes me supremely happy, knowing Swordless Link is forever stuck in... Earlier, he jumped slightly into the air and landed, and that caused the Mentos to drop into the Diet Coke pit. But this... Nah, no vibrations at all here. I'm just gonna call this in Konami code pandering. You
Up, down, down, left, right.
Show knowledge of the Konami code.
Yeah.
It's now the secret handshake for people who played the original Contra and likely have nothing else in common.
One of these things is not like the others, it's you.
Again, now that we've broken this game down to its very code, how the did this medal get accepted into the Winner's Cup? Is Barty Crouch Jr. behind it?
You're like a verp.
A what?
Vomit and a burp together.
No one will be seated during the Adam Sandler
Put out of order for good. All my subjects will be homeless.
How would they even leave the game before the arcade unplugs the machine? Think about this for a second. If they unplug the machine immediately, there's no way for their characters to escape to the surge protector. But if they're left plugged in long enough to leave before the unplugging, who's to say that the machine wouldn't get plugged back in? Does the game now have no characters after that? And what about all those times there's a power outage? Or someone unplugs the machine, waits for 30 seconds, and plugs it back in? Or is this movie saying that being in a machine when it's unplugged would essentially be like death? Because then they wouldn't have any of their old memories when the machine...
So that's what the basis of most of his sins are. Is like the logic of the video game's characters existing.
Tell another character, but is interrupted for some stupid that will make the discussion impossible cliche. I'm removing a sin here, but only because somebody is cutting onions nearby and is probably doing so for good intention. I'm really not okay about it, but I still recognize the quality storytelling and I'm open to the fact that sometimes dishes need onions. What? Are you telling me that metal is an actual physical thing that can actually physically affect the outside world? This is like when Neo stopped the Sentinels with his mind in the real world, only here it's presented as just a, yeah, that can happen kind of thing. Attention Dulcicide.
The talking candy tried to delete her code. He literally locked up our memories.
This movie yada yada's computer code worse than the 90s film Hackers did.
Because if she crosses the finish line, the game will reset, and she won't be a glitch anymore.
That seems arbitrary. Is that how programs work? A glitch crosses the finish line and the whole game resets, and all that damage King Candy did somehow magically comes undone?
Come on, I know you're out there.
Twizzlers.
Why do I fix everything I touch?
First world problems. Is it time forcing all these spectators to sleep inside the grandstands every night? God, this place is here's the thing movies always do with races, where the hero starts out so far behind that there's literally no way they could ever catch up, let alone win, and yet, of course, they always do.
It's a glitch. It's a glitch.
They cannot hear each other, damn it. Even if their engines are made out of candy, they still make noise, damn it.
That cybug you brought with you? Multiplied.
Of all the things in this movie that could have been cut, it's the cybug subplot. Sure, we get a bit of fun with Felix and Calhoun out of it, but the main story of Vanellope trying to get reinstated into Sugar Rush is so much more interesting. They could have simply made this about getting the medal back and it would have been fine.
Sweet mother of monkey milk, I did it!
Sweet mother of monkey milk? It's almost like that mindless bug knew King Candy was a bad guy, much in need of a comeuppance.
Without a beacon, there's no way to stop these monsters.
Beacon. Let me borrow that thing, lady. Is Ralph going to tell Calhoun what he plans to do here? And maybe they should set a timetable in case they need to blow the exit? Oh, 2 ladies go.
Because of you, Ralph, I'm now the most powerful virus in the arcade.
I would just like to know how Turbo got eaten by a cybug and that somehow turned him into a mutant. Let's not forget that Turbo is like 30-year-old programming code, and the cybugs are fairly new, so how does their programming mesh together at all?
Yeah.
Also, Agent Smith mock movie? Just the fact that he's the villain and he's code that has grown too strong inside a computer, that would be enough. But there's also the parallel of inexplicable existence and powers. Agent Smith just refused to die, according to the sequels, so he got to stay in or come back to the Matrix. Only now he's got duplication superpowers? The f*** is that all?
Okay, now he's going off attack on the Matrix.
Yeah.
And then grow stronger because he is human. But Smith is just code. F***ing code, that's all. I mean, wait, don't move on.
He's not gonna get. He's a real.
That's good. Look, no one loves this movie more than me. No one. But this is still a discount Iron Giant Superman moment here, and denying it only makes you.
Hey, it's that's an emotional moment for me when he says that.
Mentos Coke thing, but to base your entire climax around it, what does a sudden grimace sound like? Because that's the sound I'm making. Phallic symbols. After all the destruction and the violence and death and that race ending abruptly, this should probably not work, right?
The code may say I'm a princess, but I know who I really am, Ralph. I'm a racer with the greatest superpower ever.
I like the idea that Penelope isn't the character the game programmed her to be. There's a lot of nature versus nurture type of arguments we can get into in that kind of line. But if she was programmed to be the princess, why does the arcade cabinet show her as a racer? Someone on the marketing team disagreed with the programmers on that one.
I was here. I was there. I was glitching through the walls.
Didn't Sour Bill say that once Penelope crossed the finish
Yeah,
line,
this is the biggest one.
Yeah, it's a huge sin.
Still do this glitchy shit if that's the case.
We asked them to help us out on the bonus levels.
Jesus, do the humans who play these ever wonder why characters from other video games suddenly show up in a 30-year-old machine? You know, there's got to be a Billy Mitchell here who knows Fix-It Felix inside and out, and the inclusion of Kubert characters would be so strange that it would immediately be newsworthy, like aliens landing on Earth newsworthy.
I'm telling you guys, we haven't been this popular in years.
The idea that a 30-year-old game would suddenly surge in popularity just because Kubert characters are in it is goddamn silly.
Not bad.
Yeah. Since the ET landfill.
No! God put our mouths on our head for a reason. No!
What was that now? What are you, thick? You know what I used to eat for breakfast? Cocaine. You know what I used to eat for lunch? Cocaine.
Cocaine.
What'd you have for dinner?
What the fuck is that from?
I've never seen anything like that in 100 lifetimes.
That was from Role Models.
Oh, that's right.
That was something.
That's impossible. No one can give more than 100%. By definition, that is the most anyone can give.
Simpsons.
You have etched in the rock of virtue a legacy beyond compare.
Let's all take stands.
I'll find you!
And I will kill you.
Taffeta, darling.
Taffeta, sweetheart.
Adora Beazle Winter Pop.
Kingle me Kringleberry. Penn State
Crickleberry, Penn State University. That's so hilarious.
So what, like you said, what really was going over was a lot of the basic video game jargon.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
What I mean is that the overall the biggest sins were definitely the logic of how this world where the video games know they exist.
That's what it really was.
Like he brings up good points, like the whole power surge thing.
Yeah.
How do they know they're all buddy? That's the overall consensus for this.
Yeah, for this, that's how they broke it down in this one.
And there's the obvious ones. There's the, okay, reset the game.
Why are you still glitching?
Why is she still glitching?
Yeah.
No actual explanation about that.
Yeah, it's like, was that originally a part of what her character was supposed to be?
And I don't care what he says. I teared up at that scene where
when he was falling down
and he was reciting the mantra of the Villains Anonymous meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I teared up at that. But look at he teared up at some points too. And of course he loved the Oreo. You know, it's like, okay, this is just some funny shit right here. You know, it's like, okay, that was naturally funny. But overall, he still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The looks of it. And even went off a tangent to Matrix sins. But yeah.
He drifted off there for a moment, forgetting, wait, what movie were we talking about again? I forgot.
So, other than that, if you're new to the channel, you can hit the like button if you want to talk some more about stuff like this. Comment down below if you want to share us around, share it around. and if you like us just a little bit more than anybody else when it comes to talking about CinemaSins, hit the subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon as well.
Let us know what you guys thought of this CinemaSins. Do you agree with what he said, or do you agree with like what we had mentioned, where it's like this is what the main focus was on CinemaSins, where it was just mainly on the the video game stuff like that overall, like the little things like what he had mentioned. Do you agree with that, or do you think these sins made sense? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and comments down below. Put down what you thought of our reaction to this CinemaSins video. But most importantly, we thank you for watching.
So until next time, I'm Kristen.
I'm Christopher.
And of course, it's been another Wreck-It Ralph filled episode of SRB.
See you
later.
Hey guys, thanks for watching.
If you want to check out our previous reactions,
as well as our other shows,
click the playlist down below.
And if you want to check us out in the social universe,
you can check us out on Twitter,
as well as Stardust,
@SuperReactBros.